Hello! Welcome to DIY is my happy place. I'm Amy and today we're going to be doing a really fun Halloween witch's broom. And it's going to surprise you what we can do. I'm so excited. So, if you want to see how to create a DIY witch's broom out of Dollar Tree supplies, let's have some fun. I love to get my inspiration from items that I can pick up from my local Dollar Tree. I got this mop and I was thinking this would make the perfect witch's broom. I also got some Elmer's glue and some acrylic paint and some twine, all from the Dollar Tree. And then I also stopped by the Five Below to pick up a remote control car. Now you could get this from Five Below. It's kind of cheap. You could go a little bit fancier if you wanted to and go to Walmart or something to get a more substantial remote control car. But this works for what I'm going to be using it for. But once you see what I'm doing, you may want to upgrade depending on how big of a prank you want to do and go with a really fancy high-end remote control car, which this is one from Walmart. And now the last thing that you will need is some black spray paint, and I'll show you that in just a minute. Now we're going to take the mop picked up from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to separate all the little strings. Now this looks like it would take a long time, but really you can do this in about 5 minutes to get all the strings separated, and then it will start to look like an old witch's broom rather than a mop. Now a real broom wouldn't look like a witch's broom, so that's why we want to use the mop. Now once all the strings are taken apart, you can see how it will look, and this is what we're going to try to have it look like so that it will look like it's a floating witch's broom. Now in order to make this work, this is really going to be fun, but we're going to need to get the bristles so they're pretty stiff, and that's where our glue and our paint comes in, because we also want it to be black. So I'm going to get some Elmer's glue and some paint and a Ziploc bag. Now, the reason why I did this is I just wanted to make it as simple as could be. I really wanted to be able to do this entire thing in 5, maybe 10 minutes. Now it's going to have drying time. The actual physical time that it takes to create this fun illusion is only between 5 and 10 minutes. So I'm going to mix up the paint and the glue together and just use a Ziploc bag just to help with the mess, and it makes it easier when I'm putting the mop inside it. So I'm just going to knead this together, working all the strings of the mop in so that it can get saturated with the glue and the paint. Once I have the mop saturated, I like to get things that I already have on hand. So I got a garbage bag and a plate that's kind of beveled on the top to help make it so that it will form a bit of a cone shape. Now you could put a bowl or something under there. I just wanted everything to be disposable, so this is what I'm using. But like I said, you could use like a silver bowl and then wipe it off, but you want it to the strings to be able to be up in the center and kind of overhang the edges. Now you might want to wear gloves, although this washes off really easy. I'm just going ahead and using my hands, and we want the stick to be straight up and down. Now eventually I'm going to put this on a counter and lean the stick up against the counter to keep it in that position until it's completely dry. So I'm just going to take my little mop and just fan out the strings of the mop so that they will go all the way around this plate. And like I say, if you were using a bowl, that would be fine, but you want to make it so that when it dries, you don't want to see the light of day underneath it, because you want to be able to hide the remote control car underneath it. I hope that makes sense. Now, the bottom of my mop strings are very much covered in glue and paint, so this is going to dry up really nicely. Now, I know that you see a lot of white on the top, but when we spray paint, it won't matter. So after we get done getting it completely formed, we're going to let it completely dry overnight. And once it's completely dry, Like I said, you want to have the stick leaned up against the cabinet so that it's drying in an upright position. Then we're going to get some hot glue and our twine, and we're going to glue like crazy. We want to be very generous with the glue because that's what's going to help hold the stick up as well as with the twine. So I just go around and around and around until it really feels like it is starting to hold its own shape. And you want to glue some of the twine all the way down and around the bristles. I'm calling it bristles because it's like it's a broom now. Around a good portion of the broom, because once we put the remote control car underneath, we want that part to be very solid because we're going to attach it with actually its own strings and then something else to help it keep it. I'm going to glue it onto the car, and I'm also going to use pipe cleaners or whatever, zip ties, whatever you have to attach it. Now, as I was going along, I went ahead and added some glue all along the stick because I want to make the stick, the witch's broomstick, a little more rustic. Once we get this completely glued and the stick stands up on its own, then we're going to go ahead and use our black spray paint to spray paint the entire broom. You want the entire thing black. Now, if there's a little bit of white showing through, that's okay because then it looks a little bit more rustic. I love it. Okay, now we're going to attach our car. Now, when you're attaching it, you can attach it straight to the broom itself, but you want it to go through the windows or through the doors of the car. You do not want to attach underneath because you don't want it to slow down the car. Now, I did put a zip tie on the very bottom, but you just have to be really careful because it might high center if you don't make sure that there's no big drag under the car. Once it's attached, we can let the fun begin. It's so much fun. It's perfect because it's good for little kids or old kids. I mean, for everyone. I think it would be so fun to have it sitting right on your porch. Maybe when your trick-or-treaters are coming and then you just kind of nudge it towards somebody. I mean, it'd just be so unexpected. You could actually have it go across your dining room floor, or you could drive it down the sidewalk on the street, depending on what kind of car you have. Now, the Five Below car, it's a little, the wheel to the car dimension is not as deep, so it doesn't like to go over, up and over curbs and whatever, so to speak. And that's why if you wanted this to be a go down the sidewalk kind of a car, you would want the higher end remote control car. But it really is a lot of fun. We have so much fun. What'd you think? Isn't that funny? It's so much fun. I love to have fun with Halloween. And if you want to see more videos like this, go ahead, click right here or right here. And please subscribe, like, share it out. And I'll see you again soon. See ya.